apparently is something that has been on his mind for quite some time.
In the end, what it comes down to is the fact that he is a man that hasn't won a playoff game since 2016.
Great coaches, just like great players, just needs a restart. I think that's exactly what Mike Tomlin has decided.
Okay, welcome to the show. We are on Sports Tonight here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. You can be a part of Unsportsmanlike Nation on the Dr. Pepper call line. Call us at 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. ESPN Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. It's not college football season without the delicious taste of an ice cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it's a pepper thing. After 19 seasons, Mike Tomlin is no longer the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care how many times we speculated about this. It is still stunning in my eyes. Along with Michelle Smallman and CC, Courtney Cronin in for Canty the next couple of days. So we are thrilled to have Courtney with us, Evan Cohen with you. And ladies, I'm still stunned that he's not the coach of the Steelers. I don't care how many times we have speculated about this exact story playing out this exact way. I don't care. I'm still stunned.
I'm stunned as well. When we got word yesterday that the Steelers were going to have a team meeting, you thought, okay, well, let's connect some dots here. Adam Schefter joined us yesterday morning and told us several things that were very important and leading up to this.
Boy, did he have a day with us yesterday.
Boy, did he ever.
Listen every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Eastern. Go back on that podcast. Everything that happened yesterday was hinted by Schefter. Go ahead. Sorry.
And we were trying to put it together during the show and say, do the Windy, what could that all mean? Because you had asked him, do you think we're done with head coaching firings in the NFL? And I think at that time you were kind of alluding to, could there still be another team in the playoffs that if they fall short of getting to or winning a Super Bowl, could their head coach be out, i.e. Sean McDermott? And Schefter said, there's just too much percolating behind the scenes right now for me to think that it's done. There could be something else that's happening. He also shared with us yesterday that if the Steelers and Mike Tomlin were to part ways, that Mike Tomlin is firmly in control of this, that they would want him back. This is going to be his decision. So given all that, I should have been less surprised when the word came down that Mike Tomlin did, in fact, meet with the team and say that he was stepping down after 19 seasons with the Steelers. But, Courtney, even though Adam essentially told us what was going to happen yesterday, I still was stunned because it's Mike Tomlin.
I'm in the minority here. I wasn't shocked at all. I really wasn't. And I think because we have talked about this happening in so many different ways, is he going to get fired? Is it going to be a mutual parting of ways? The less known option, the one that we didn't talk about as much, would he step away? Either way, the rubber was going to meet the road here. So when I see that tweet from Schefter and Jeremy Fowler around 12:30 Central Time yesterday, that Mike Tomlin just told the team in the team meeting that he's stepping away, I was like, okay, it's time, because it's been time. And when Clinton and Yates and I were hosting yesterday, 10 to 12, so this is right before this whole thing happened, I thought, like, looking ahead to the future, does he want to be a part of a rebuild? Because that's what it's going to be next year. And they're drafting 21st overall. That's not a spot to get a quarterback in this coming year's draft. Does he want to sign up for more of that, knowing that his contract extension, he had 2 years remaining on the deal? We know that the Rooneys don't fire coaches. They don't want to be paying somebody who's sitting at home or working on a broadcast or doing something that's not for them on a day-to-day basis. There had to be some sort of other option here. Now, contractually, how it works with him stepping away, what that means with the years that remain on his contract, that's all minutia at this point, because he could very well end up as a head coach this cycle. He could sit out, he could go to broadcast, he could do whatever he wants. But the timing here, and when this happened, when you listen to Mike Tomlin on Monday night after the game, and how this was the first time he had kind of alluded to, like, I don't know what's going to happen, like thinking about the future. He had always been very succinct and very direct with, this is my football team. I am the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is my job. I'm staying. That was the first time there was any sort of ambiguity around that. If you listen to him in that press conference, so to me, that was the first hint. But ultimately, 9 years without a playoff win, 19 seasons in Pittsburgh, never a losing season. What more did he have to do? I guess I'm like the only one here who thinks that this was coming. Even as weird as it is to see, I still felt like this was going to happen.
Yeah, but Court, I look at it a little differently in this regard. And maybe it's semantics, but this is, I guess the point that I'm trying to get across is if LeBron James announces his retirement at the end of the year after 23 years, I'm still going to be shocked. Because now I'm living in a world where LeBron James is not in the NBA. I'll put this in perspective because I know the general age of the two of you. Neither of you have ever done a professional broadcast in your life without Mike Tomlin as the coach of the Steelers.
I have not.
Fair.
No, I know that. I know how old you are. What I'm saying to you is factually, you have never been paid to broadcast at any point in your life without Mike Tomlin as the coach of the Steelers. That's the part that's shocking, is how much of our professional sports lives, fan lives, media lives in this case, where like this guy was a part of the conversation. He won a Super Bowl at 36 years old. Basically, not your ages, but basically think about it, your ages. That's it. I'm done. I hit the peak. I've done everything you potentially could do in life. And then, boy, I'm making myself really old because I'm so much older than you guys. But the point is, then you're done.
Yeah.
Then you're done.
Sure.
Like, you cannot get better than that man got. He has been the head coach since 2007. That's the part, Court, that is shocking to me. Not that we didn't see this coming, not that this wasn't the right time, not that maybe because the fans and the media kind of pushing it, is that in your professional lives, you have never done anything for money in this business where Mike Tomlin hasn't been the coach of the Steelers.
I get that part, but I guess we've seen some pretty big retirements over the years that this is not as jarring to me as it would be maybe a Steelers fan who all they've known throughout their entire adult life, if they're my age, is having Mike Tomlin more or less as their coach. They'd probably remember the Bill Cowher years. They certainly do not remember Chuck Noll. I don't think you remember Chuck Noll much, Evan, either, because that was a long time ago.
A little bit,
but
not a lot of it.
You know, I can't look at this and think this wasn't going to happen, which is why I'm not as shocked. Like, is it jarring that he will not be on a sideline next year and that we're going to see somebody else wearing black and yellow and maybe the sunglasses and the headset? But in totality of how this season played out, in totality of the rumor mill and all the smoke about is it time? Is it time last year? Are they going to make the playoffs? Are they not going to make the playoffs? What happens if they don't? What happens if they do? What happens if they lose in the wild card round? All of that was greasing the wheels that something was going to happen in the very coming days. I guess I'm more surprised. The only thing I was surprised about was that it happened when it did, like so immediately yesterday, which I think was the right play ultimately. And the biggest shock to me in all of this, I can't remember there was a time there were 9 head coach openings in an NFL head coaching cycle. Usually there's like 6, maybe 7, but 9? That's, almost a third of the league, guys.
Yeah, it's nuts. This whole cycle has been absolutely nuts. And maybe we should have been on Team Courtney, Ev. Well, we're always on Team Courtney, but for her thinking here with Tomlin, because we just saw John Harbaugh get fired.
Yes.
We just saw John Harbaugh get fired. So why should we be surprised when Mike Tomlin adds another year to that 9-year postseason victory drought and he walks away? Maybe we shouldn't have been surprised. And we had heard rumblings about this early in the season that maybe he would want to walk away. Maybe he would want to try media for a while and then come back a la Sean Payton. Bill Belichick didn't come back, but we saw how favorable Bill Belichick was in the media. We want to have coaches like that and get their point of view, their perspective. But maybe we shouldn't have been surprised. I know it's a new world for us. We haven't lived in an NFL without Harbaugh and without Tomlin for a long time. Yes, it's been a long, long time. But it's also been a long, long time since he's won a postseason game, and that is a fan base, a city, and an organization that demands different.
And I guess one other thing. So, there were Fire Tomlin chants. I didn't hear them on the broadcast, but I know that writers that were there, people who were covering the game, heard it. Game was 30-6. Of course, fans are going to be upset about that. I remember covering a game there, being on sideline for ESPN Radio, Bills Steelers, November 30th, where the Fire Tomlin chants went all around Acrisure Stadium. And not that that was the signal, okay, they lose to the Bills, this is it for him. We had been talking about this all year long. I guess as someone who covers the league daily, this felt more like a reality as each week passed. That's all I'm trying to say, that I'm not stunned, oh my God, I woke up and I see Mike Tomlin's gone. Yes, it's jarring, but it was never not expected that this was going to be the outcome, whether it was firing him, whether it was him stepping away, whether it was a mutual parting of ways, whatever the semantics were. We all anticipated that there would have to be a change after the season, and there ultimately was.
Okay, so why is he not the head coach of the Steelers anymore?
Because he's done, Evan, because I think that it's run its course. Things in life run their course, and I don't think he wanted to sign up for a rebuild next year. Aaron Rodgers is not under contract. He has 2 more years left on his deal. They're picking 21st overall for a quarterback, unless you want to trade for Mac Jones, Kyler Murray, or go sign up for Malik Willis, which, by the way, would be fine. I'm just saying these are not like the sexiest of options. Do you really want to, knowing that like this is probably your last contract in Pittsburgh, do you want to go out on that note? I don't think he wanted to sign up for that. I don't think that, not at 53 years old, that he couldn't undertake a rebuild. I think he's done all he can do, and sometimes it's just time to say goodbye.
Yeah, I think that there's more to this, though. I think not we're missing something, not something odd happened. I now have started to think about this a little bit differently. When he announced yesterday to his team, I'm walking away, okay? And then you hear all of the conversations about everyone else, which is just 2 people, in his position, Bill Cowher and Chuck Noll. I think games coached in the NFL the rest of his life, if I put that the over-under at a half, I would maybe take the under right now.
You think he's done?
I think what's going to happen is maybe he gets this big opportunity in television, radio, whatever broadcast medium. It's going to be a significant amount of money, and he will never be cold. He will live in Florida or work in California or whatever he's doing, and he will never be cold. He is going to be the healthiest he's ever been in his life.
Sleeping, relaxing,
smile on his face, and he's going to sit there and say, I have nothing left to prove. And every conversation, and what will happen is he'll flirt with other teams across the way. He'll talk to an owner of a team here and an owner of a team there, right? And then what's going to realize is like, do I want to work for this organization?
Yeah.
I'm a Steeler. I have to work for the Dolphins? What?
How much of it do you think was him looking at someone like a Bill Belichick, where it's the sad image of someone who can't let go, somebody who had been in a spot for a very long time? I like, to your point about like, will he coach again? Will he not? We're never going to see another coach 19 seasons with one team. Not in today's world where constantly people are trying to up the ante. Everybody's getting better. Coaches last about 3 years on average unless you start to win. We're never going to see somebody like a John Harbaugh or a Mike Tomlin again for that long of a stretch in the NFL. But do you think that seeing Belichick and how this whole thing has gone down and how sad it looked in the first year where he stepped away from the NFL and stepped into college football, that he's like, on second thought, maybe I don't want to get back into coaching. I just, like, when you go out on top, I know it's hard for these guys to do that, but I just ultimately look at how it's gone for others. And I think someone with a legacy that is untarnished, like Mike Tomlin, wouldn't want to sign up for the same thing.
Well, that's what's next for Tomlin, potentially. What's next for the Steelers is fascinating because now they have to find a coach, find a quarterback, and rebuild this thing. How are they going to do that? We will get into that coming up. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
The College Football Playoff National Championship. The magical run by the 10th-ranked Miami Hurricanes continues.